a second-hand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a real man. Give me a real man, you know what I mean. I want a real man. Oh, real man, you're what I need.
What is up? How you guys doing? You all set? You all good to go? Hey, welcome to Real Men. I'm your host, Tim Steeves. This is the show where men get real. And we've got a great panel assembled to get down to what's really wrong. So let's meet them. Noam Rosen's here today.
Hello.
How you doing, Noam?
I am above average.
Good. Well, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Also joining us, Tim Rykert is in the couch.
Hello, man.
Good to see you, Timmy. And, of course, Anne-Marie Scheffler joined us.
Hello.
Nice to see you, Anne-Marie.
You too.
Chucky Byrn dropped in as well.
There he is.
How you doing, Chucky doll?
Chuck's doing great.
Chuck's doing great. Everyone seems to be above average. So let's get it kicked off with a commentary from that very same Chuck Byrn.
Date rape, fairly serious subject. Don't want to make too much fun of it. Date rape has really come a long way since it first started out. Date rape used to mean you go out on a date, you meet the girl, you talk to the girl, you interact with the girl, and then you cross a line. You don't take no for an answer. But nowadays, date rape seems to be all about drugging the girl before you actually initiate a conversation. That really isn't date rape. That's just rape. Tim?
Okay, Chuck. Well, you said it. Fairly serious topic, and Chuck handled it nicely to get started, and I think that's a good point Chuck makes. I mean, that's not date rape, the drugging the drink, is it, Tim?
Ridiculous to even think of that. How can you possibly, like that, it's just technically, that's rape. That's not, there's no date involved. Where's the date?
Yeah.
Let's hear from Anne-Marie on this right off the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you know, luckily this whole drugging thing is not something I've experienced, and I don't know anyone who's experienced that personally. But back to the date rape itself, I have not been date raped, but I've experienced 2 attempts. And I'll have to tell you that it's generally someone you know. The first time, obviously it's someone you know. It's like any kind of crime, right? You usually get murdered by people you're related to or you're married to. But in the date rape situation, it's when a guy thinks that he deserves something from you. For instance, I had an ex. He invited himself over to my house once, and he just thought that he was able to have sex before he left. And I'm like, you know what? We broke up 2 months ago, and you're getting out. Get the hell out of my house. And he thought that he deserved something, and it's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Luckily, he was a skinny musician, so I was, way more than him.
Not hard to push him out the
Luckily,
door.
he was on heroin at the time and weak from not eating.
Well, you see, date rape, I always equated date rape, where you heard about it the most was universities, fraternities. People getting, maybe having a little too much to drink, and judgment on both sides is a little off, and the guy crosses the line.
Yeah.
And then the guy's defense was always, well, I was drunk too. But I think we've come to an understanding as a group in our society that it's the guy's responsibility to listen, regardless how loaded she is, of what she's saying.
And universities is a very good example because I came from a small town. I'm in a huge, big city for the first time. I've got my own dorm room, like my own room for the first time in a major city, the biggest city in Canada. And then, you go out on a date with a guy you don't know. You've maybe met him, the day before, and you both, are at university. That's the big thing in common. And then he's in your room, and you want him to leave. Mm-hmm. And he's like 200 pounds, you're 120, and you're thinking, how do I get the hell out of this situation? And how do I not take the blame because I invited him in?
Noam's such a sweetheart. Not only would he never date rape anyone, he's not even going to talk in the freaking segment.
I'm just always shocked when I hear these stories because I don't understand the mentality that goes into, the actual act of date rape.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
I think date rape's one of those things where the intent is very much a gray area. I think, the guy usually, you have to speak in generalities. But usually, the guy wanted to have sex. He didn't necessarily want to rape the girl, but he wanted to have sex, and
he wanted
something went wrong.
I think date rape is even if the girl even wants sex, but she's so bloody hammered and you got her that way. I think like a bartender has to cut a drunk off, a guy has to cut his own I'm trying to get in here off when you realize she's not even making the right decisions herself.
Oh, wait a second. Let's not blame the bartenders of the world, because there's a lot of legal responsibility put on bartenders.
I'm not talking about legal responsibilities. I'm talking about moral and social responsibilities. You don't let a guy get so hammered he can't walk out of the bar.
Noam does. Well,
you shouldn't let a girl get so hammered that she can't say no.
Tim brings up an interesting point. Noam, do you think women have as much responsibility as men when it comes to this topic?
Well, I mean, I don't think that men often get date raped by women, if that's what you're asking.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, does a woman have as much responsibility in the situations?
To not get so loaded? Well, I don't want to
not only getting loaded, but putting herself in a situation where she's could become a victim.
Now we're sort of leaning into Camille Paglia kind of territory, which is a kind of blame the victim, you shouldn't have been there in the first place, which, although it has its useful points, because you do have to, in the end, you have to protect yourself. You have to do that. But I think that there's just so much responsibility.
Well, let's for example, Anne-Marie said her ex-boyfriend invited himself over. Well, hold on a minute, honey. You could have said, "Screw you, pal. You're not coming over."
Absolutely, and I've got to be able to say no at the first, when he's trying to come in. He comes in, and I think, well, he's my ex-boyfriend. He f***ing knows me, and. I'm a little emotional, maybe.
Ex-boyfriend brings out the naughty words.
Okay. That was our first big F-bomb in Real Men. Hey, did you like that at home much?
Right.
Wow.
And
well, it is an emotional.
I'm so happy.
It's an emotional topic.
It's an emotional topic, but I have to say that I let him in. He invited himself over. I think that we're two responsible adults. But as soon as I saw where he thought it was going, man, I could have easily said, okay, I've had sex with him before, and I'll just let him have sex with me again, even though I don't want to. Or I can say, you know what? Get the hell out. To ruin a friendship, I invited him in. But
right.
Who cares?
I get really...
Hold on, we're out of time, and obviously, I think you're right. Women have some responsibility to take care, but obviously it's not the victim's fault. We're going to come back. We're going to talk gadgets, boys and their toys when we come back on Real Men. How about that F-bomb Anne-Marie dropped?
Women are becoming more aware of the fact that they have to be careful.
Hey, welcome back to Real Men. We're going to lighten it up now, have a little bit more fun this segment. We're going to talk about boys and their toys. And to get it kicked off, we've got Tim Rykert. Go ahead, Timmy.
Yeah, maybe later. Oh, no, I got to go now. Gadgets. Men love gadgets. They love the cell phone. They love their electronic equipment, their video games. They love the gadgets. But why? Hard one for me, because I'm not a gadget guy. I don't understand gadgets, why they love the gadgets. But I do admit, men love gadgets, especially little handheld gadgets like this. My first thought when I started to figure it out was, maybe it's about figuring things out. Men like to figure things out. They don't like to ask for directions. I'll figure it out! They always figure out the electronic gadgets before they're women, and then they get to teach them and feel all powerful. But I don't think that's it at all, actually. I think, why would men rally around one thing? What is it that would make men rally? Well, they think it can get them laid. But why would they think an electronic gadget could get them laid? Why would holding a cell phone make women attracted to men? What could have happened? Well, gadgets have been around about 30 years now, and men grabbed them up right away. So what could have happened maybe a little over 30 years ago that made men think that having something like this would get them laid? What say you want to learn a little more about Earthmen? Spock? I won't be beaming up right away. I've got to do a little more surveying down here on the planet. Why do men love gadgets? Captain Kirk. Tim?
I'm not sure what the point of that was, but it was kind of entertaining.
What do you know? I don't know.
In a weird way. I know Chuck. I've been over to Chuck's house a couple of times, and it's always with the gadgets over at Chucky Doll's house. Chuck, you like your toys over there?
I like toys. I've always liked toys. I like the Fisher, little toys, little figurines, and I like the big electronic toys now. But I don't know. I mean, I like gadgets mainly because I'm in a position where the only person I have to spend money on is me, so
it's going to be
I'm going to treat myself pretty good. I got plenty of toys.
Noam's got one of those TVs that's the big giant flat screen. Looks like you're looking out a window on a sunny day, for freak's sake. Do you like that stuff, Noam?
No, actually, with the television, no. I have a $5 computer monitor from the 80s that I use.
Wow.
but
you're
Tim,
a Renaissance man, though.
Tim, you're lying. You have you've got toys. You've got that computer in your dressing
computer.
room.
Everybody needs a computer now.
You do video editing.
Oh, having a computer is not a gadget.
That's a toy.
It's not a toy. Everybody has one. Everybody has one.
What do you use it for?
Can I ask you guys a
Work?
question?
Okay.
Jump in, Anne-Marie.
Well, I just thought I'd try. Anyway, it seems to be about boys and their toys. So does that mean boys who like their toys aren't men enough for a real relationship?
No, because I got no problem with the relationship so long as I get to keep playing with my toys.
Right, well, then you seem very distracted.
It's also, I think, I mean, as a guy, you want to have the big TV. You know, invite the boys over. We can watch the big TV. I think, especially as a single guy. As a married guy, I think, no, married guys still like their toys. My dad likes his toys. Guys like their cars. They like to have.
Just the priorities have to switch,
heated
Chuck, right,
seats
honestly?
and you're
Like Chuck was saying, if he's spending money only on him, it's going to be
Yeah, I mean,
electronics.
I
and
have
stuff.
heated seats in my car. Do I need heated seats? No. But in the summertime, it's fun to think the passenger has malaria.
I'm just I'm just thinking that, you know, it'd be, I don't know, I haven't dated a lot of guys with toys. So, you know, if I say dated you, Chuck.
Hello.
Which I could see happening, by the way.
I'm willing to share my toys.
You know, would you be deep enough? I mean, or is it just going to be like, yeah, Anne-Marie, I'm sorry that you're crying for some reason, but have you seen this new video game I got?
No, it's not like that.
No. No, Anne-Marie.
Electronics
are for the good times, Anne-Marie.
It's not that the toys take over your life. They just make your life a little more
Better?
fun.
I happen to
Little
know
fun?
for a fact that some women really like toys. And that's not just to achieve orgasm. Sometimes they just like gadgets and toys just as much as guys. I don't know if it's really
I think the point I was trying to make
They
in,
like
in the commentary, and I know I didn't do a good job. I was a little hungover.
No, Timmy, you were fine,
No, come on,
buddy.
man. No, but
Don't
it's,
beat yourself up.
I'm serious about the Captain Kirk thing, man, because that was before gadgets. So men were waiting for gadgets to come. Men were, when can I get my hand on one
No,
of
men
these?
always had gadgets. Maybe they were stone or
Oh, they had-
iron.
No, but men were
Fancy
waiting for the
pipes
flip
or-
phone, man. Men were waiting for the Captain Kirk. I'm just saying it's a sex thing. I think it's got to do with a power trip over men. They know they can always figure out the VCR before the woman, and then they get to show
But
her
it's not
how.
just electronic gadgets. I mean, if you've ever been over to a guy who religiously smokes marijuana's house, he's got
I was at your place last week.
Well, it's religious, but you know what I mean? Like you go into a marijuana store, there's 1,000,001 gadgets in there too. You go to, I mean, there's
So
some
you're-
stores
mean-
called the Den for Men sell nothing but gadgets.
Chuck, you mean like the pipe where there's a whiskey
Pipes and
still under
bongs
here and
you
there's
know,
40
and the
gadgets?
eyes light up when you pull on it. You know, we
Those
just
are
like things
accessories.
that we like.
Those
We
are
like little.
accessories,
We like
all right.
little things.
And so you're
But
saying
head
that,
shops aren't for men. They're for wasted people, women and men alike.
Yeah, I guess
They all like their gadgets when they're
but
wasted.
Tim, you're saying that you can like lure a woman in with like the command of your gadgets.
Really?
Is there not a sexual? Is this not sexy to you, Anne-Marie? Anne-Marie.
No.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess in a way.
No, I mean, come on.
Tell them the
Oh,
truth.
okay.
Tell them the truth. Tell them it's not sexy.
Well, I have to tell you that when I first got a car that had standard shift, I thought that was like, gave me power and it was very sexy because
Sure.
I got to shift, you know. But that's me maybe wanting,
I'm
you
not
know,
saying
control.
it is sexy. I'm saying men think it's sexy, and that's what
Oh,
they're
okay,
doing.
that's true.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
it
that's-
actually
that's
is
totally
sexy.
true.
I'm saying that's what they think.
I think it's maybe like a money thing too. Like nothing.
If I have
guys
toys,
like, if
I
I
have-
have
Yeah, like the gold and
expensive
the-
toys.
Okay,
acquiring
all right,
things.
let's wrap this segment. And when we come back, we're going to sort of stay on the same topic. We're going to talk about from beers to single malt. Does the appreciation of the finer things in life make you more of a real man? And I was asking people in the street what makes a real man. Let's hear from those guys. We're coming right back.
It's all about the hat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the hat makes the man.
it is. Yeah. All about the hat.
And straw hat even?
It's preferably, yeah.
Hey, welcome back to Real Men. We're talking about taste, more or less, this segment. From beers to single malt. As guys get older, we develop taste, believe it or not. Noam, what have you developed a taste for as you've gotten older?
Well, I like champagne. I like fine foods.
Like a little bubbly.
I like a little bubbly now and then.
Really?
Yeah. I like cooking fine foods. I like cooking. That's a new one.
Do you have more
So-
patience to go to a nice restaurant and relax and have a full 2 hours and, you know what I mean? Like,
I
you know how
love
guys,
it.
I know me, like when I was younger, I had no patience for a nice restaurant. Let's go, I gotta eat and get out of here.
I ask for the check when my entree comes. They put the entree down and I go, check, please. So that when I'm done eating, the check's there and I can get the hell out. I don't want to.
Really?
I hate nothing worse than finishing a meal and then now I gotta. Then they bring you your check and then they disappear for another 3 hours. It's going to take you 3 hours to pull your money out of your pocket.
Do you feel like a prisoner right then?
Totally.
That's why I don't go
But
to
if I'm
Denny's
with a
anymore.
fine lady and there's fine conversation, then I
Sure.
don't mind hanging out for sure.
Yeah. What
I
about
think
you,
food's-
Chuck?
I'm a big fan of treating myself right, but by the same token, I mean, I'm just as happy eating, fast food.
Right.
as eating good stuff.
What things have you developed a taste for as you've gotten older, Chuck?
Scotch.
Oh yeah, I love
really
a bit
just
of single malt. Don't you love a bit of single
That's
malt?
more of an issue of quieting the voices than anything else.
There's nothing like the extra smooth sauce.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like Scotch. I like really good food. I mean, people like good things. I mean,
But you know what? When you're younger, I think it's why women are attracted to it is because it's a sign of maturity, and it's a sign. It's a sign of worldliness. Because for me, it's all about food and travel. Those are the things that I didn't know nothing about when I was younger. You know, I just eat whatever the hell. Now I'm so into making really good food.
see, for me, it was my dad has like always been into red wine and restaurants. My dad loves going to restaurants. So as a result, as a kid, we went out a lot. So I got exposed to it. So it's not really like I'm treating myself to the finer things. I'm just trying to keep up with what I got used to.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, are you attracted to a guy who seems to have good taste?
Oh yeah, I mean a $50 bottle of wine that a guy handpicked for me is very attractive and makes me think, you know,
I'm worth it.
I'm worth it.
This
and,
guy really wants to get me drunk.
$50 bottle of wine.
With me, it's a lot about like when I was younger. If I went into a fancy restaurant and tried to have a fancy meal, then they'd kind of say, "What are you doing here?" Because I look kind of scruffy. And now that I sort of fit in more with your average people, I can sit in a fancy restaurant and not have strange looks directed at me while I try to have a meal.
But I think a lot of it can be very much attached to status. Like a lot of people go out and drink single malt scotch and smoke Cuban cigars because they want to be seen drinking single malt scotch and Cuban cigars. Look at me, aren't I fancy?
Yeah, especially the cigar. I find a cigar extremely pretentious. That might be silly, but
There's time and a place for a cigar. I think there's sometimes when you're like in a beautiful restaurant and you're looking down over the city.
The White House.
And the
Bill
guy,
Clinton's
the
not a
White
good place
House.
for a cigar.
And there, you know, there's a.
oh, good. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Timmy doing a little off-road.
Somebody
Why
had
do
to
I
go
bother?
there.
Yeah, but actually the cigar smell sometimes is very nice and it just adds to the whole evening. You know, everything's just really.
Well, that's you be way alone there on the women's side. Not alone,
but one
on the
cigar.
minority
I'm not
side.
talking about the whole
whole
restaurant
room full of
filled
them,
with
yeah.
cigars.
Not alone, she's with a cigar smoker. My grandfather smoked cigars. And they weren't expensive cigars, though. Like, it was like cheap Costa Rican shake
Popeyes.
cigars. You know what I mean? He'd smoke them at the horse track. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that wasn't like a fancy thing
Something
at
you
all,
could
but it
chew
still
on.
had that air.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what guys like, is this air of fanciness.
What about
Because
the
we don't
more-
really know what's fancy or not. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just
Well, we've talked a lot
things
about
taste good.
food and the booze. What else is there? Like
Cars.
Do you demand a nicer place to live as
Clothing.
you get older? Do you
Absolutely.
need
Yeah.
nicer ride? and
Yeah, I mean, I used to be able to live on a single bed with a bunch of milk crates holding all my stuff.
Right.
And I was thrilled. And now that's just unacceptable.
Now
Right.
mattresses are in.
Mattresses are key.
Yeah.
Maybe even sheets.
There's nothing better than throwing away a futon.
No.
Throwing away a futon is a right of manhood.
I've thrown away like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to know about that. The
I tend to go
reason
through
behind it.
beds.
No, hey, no. If you had all the money in the world, what would you? Now, I don't mean private jet level, but if you
Right.
had all the money you needed to really go out and get, what would be the real, you know, the finer thing you'd like to have? What would it be?
Ironically, I'd probably live exactly the same way I live right now, but I would take more vacations.
There
And I
you
would
go.
probably
Yeah.
worry less. I
Boy,
think that's-
traveling doesn't suck.
Travel.
You know, hitting the
Traveling's
beach in March doesn't suck.
But it's different. It's different kind of traveling now. When you talk about the finer things, when we were younger, we all used to go down to Fort Lauderdale, and it was all about the beach vacation. And now you want to go to Europe and learn about, you know, culture and learn about the
Sure.
homeland.
I do? No,
I do.
I don't.
Well, yeah, Chuck wants to learn about culture in Amsterdam.
I never
I'm
got to
thinking,
go to
probably.
Fort Lauderdale. I got dragged off to Paris to learn about culture, and all I wanted to do was go to Fort Lauderdale.
Chuck calls Fort Lauderdale the finer things in life.
It is. I've seen the videos. Those girls go
What about
crazy.
you, Tim? What about you, Tim? All the money in the world, what would you get yourself?
It's travel for me. It's
Yeah.
if I made $1 million or $20 million tomorrow, I'd quit and travel the world for the rest of
Okay,
my
that's
life.
good. We got to get out. We're going to come right back with a couple of more minutes on Real Men. We're talking about the finer things. What would you get? If you could get anything. We're coming
Actually,
right
you know what?
back.
I'd buy a sports car. It's the only thing I want. I've never owned a convertible.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about the finer things, and believe it or not, some men do develop taste over time. Anne-Marie, little female perspective, what kind of stuff have you developed a taste for as you've gotten older?
I'll have to say traveling as well. I can't tell you how great it is to get on a plane and see the world. And that's another thing, as you get older, as you start to develop appreciation for the life you're living, you want to know that you've been to Africa, that you've seen Paris, that you know what it's like to be in Australia. You know, because especially if you're going to get married and have kids, you want to, you know, do the adventures now, you know. And even to plan to do it with your family later on and stuff like that.
What about you,
Wine
Noam?
on a date, is it a big deal for you for the guy to know the wine list and to know his wines?
Yeah, that's kind of nice too. When a guy says, "This is from the Rouge Valley," or "I was in Napa and this is, you know, one of my favorite wines."
Rouge.
Do you know wines, Noam?
Do I know wines? Yeah, I know the expensive ones are better.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, that's a rule of thumb.
you know.
Spend $60, you're in good shape,
What
right?
do you need to know?
Not
She
always.
said a $50 bottle of wine, never mind 60.
Right.
So I think the important thing to remember is that as women go from their 20s into their 30s, you'd like different things. Like women in their 30s like real estate, and not as much the cars and the bigger toys and the bigger things.
Security.
Security and having a home and, you know, all the good things in life, like not having to be stressed out about things, you know?
And walking into
Freedom 35, I'm talking. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're cutting women a little short with it. They want the house, they want the big things, and I think they also want
I'm just
a
talking to my
worldly
woman.
man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they want a worldly guy. They want a guy who knows a lot of things about you know, when you know about the finer things, you've experienced a lot of life, and I think that's attractive, not just from a monetary standpoint.
No, that's so true. It's like, you know, if you go into a guy's house and it's a beautiful house, he owns it, and he's got like the car-do there, and everything's so appreciated, and he's inviting you into this. You feel like he appreciates you as well, and he's not just gonna be like, "Hey, are you a female and I'm a man? Let's go to, you know, like let's go bang or
Grab
something."
some
Just
chicken
push
wings,
that milk
have a
cart out of the
seat.
way. It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Push the milk cart out of the way, and
See
we'll
my
grab some chicken
futon?
wings, and we'll sit down on the futon, and then you'll go. And then you'll leave immediately.
Let's gather
You'll
around the
maybe
black and
grab
white
an envelope
television.
from the
What's
desk.
your favorite? We're almost out of time. I want to hear what Chuck's favorite toy is at home. What's your favorite? Because I know you got lots of cool gadgets.
Satellite television.
Satellite TV, you can't beat it.
And the giant TV that I've got that
Yeah, the
goes
big
with it.
TV and the satellite dish, and you can watch stuff like Real Men, where men get real. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, and porn.
Sure, a little porn.
I knew it.
Sure.
I
Mix
knew
in some
It's like
porn.
looking through a window.
And toy porn. The problem with porn is you don't watch a lot of porn when I'm not at home. Like when I'm on the road stuff, I don't watch porn. But the problem